The world's most prominent podcaster engaged in a profound discussion with a Bible believing Christian, covering topics such as the Great Flood, the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, Jonah's encounter with a fish, and the book of Revelation. However, a significant aspect of their conversation that has yet to receive widespread attention is one of the most intriguing mysteries found in the Bible. This enigmatic subject is revealed in Revelation chapter 21, verse 1, where it states, "Now I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away. Also, there was no more sea." Three brief excerpts from the interview delve into the enigma of the sea, highlighting its embodiment of unpredictability and chaos. This is evidenced by the common depiction of sea monsters, such as the Leviathan in Job, which represents chaos. It's mentioned in Babylonian literature and symbolizes the encompassing chaos in the world. The book of Job suggests that God has the power to control this entity. Furthermore, in the book of Revelation, the final chapter of the Bible, it is stated that in the new heavens and earth, there will be no sea. In the initial clip concerning the sea, we encounter terms like chaos, unpredictability, and sea monsters. Given such imagery, if the sea is indeed a metaphor for the chaos and unpredictability in the world, one would not dissent from that perspective. This is due to the evident destructive force of the sea, as evidenced by tsunamis, intense maritime storms, and lethal marine creatures. Leviathan, a creature that has long puzzled Christian scholars, is mentioned in the Bible. Its nature has been a subject of debate for thousands of years due to the lack of a definitive interpretation. The Bible references Leviathan in Isaiah 27, verse 1, where it is described as a serpent that the Lord will punish with a sword. Psalm 74, verse 14 mentions that Leviathan's head was broken and given as food to the people in the wilderness. Furthermore, in Job 41, Leviathan is depicted as a formidable creature, challenging to capture with a hook or line, and arrows have no effect on it. Stones become ineffective against it. In the following excerpt, we hear a discussion between friends, including an Australian individual named Ida, who is assisting with the translation of Revelation. He expresses his affection for the sea, but points out its unpredictability, highlighting the motif of the sea as a symbol of danger and mortality in ancient creation stories. So, would the threats of the sea no longer be a concern? Yes, indeed. The sea, serving as a metaphor for the unknown, according to Oceana, the largest international advocacy organization for ocean conservation, only approximately 20% of the ocean has been explored, leaving more than 80% unexplored. Given the difficulty in protecting areas of the ocean that are not well understood, only about 7% of the world's oceans are currently designated as marine protected areas. The sea indeed harbors many mysteries. When Jesus encountered two men possessed by demons, they shouted, "What have we to do with you, Jesus? You are the Son of God. Have you come here to torment us before their time?" According to Matthew 8, verses 30 to 32, a significant distance from them, there was a herd of swine feeding. The demons implored Jesus, asking if they could be released into the herd of swine. Jesus agreed, and upon being cast out, the demons possessed the swine, which then rushed down a steep incline into the sea and perished. This event leaves us with a perplexing question. Why did the demons request to be cast into a herd of swine, only to then run into the sea and perish? The final clip features the sea, serving as an analogy for the unpredictable. Interestingly, the concept of the sea as a realm of the dead is a recurring theme in this literature. A notable example is the Book of Jonah, where the narrative's flow is subtly altered in translation. In the original Hebrew, Jonah's descent is a recurring motif. From his town to the dock, into the boat, and finally into the boat's interior. This journey mirrors his plunge into the sea during a storm, and subsequently, his descent with the fish into the ocean's depths. Jonah's prayer from within the fish reflects his cry from the depths of Sheol, the Hebrew term for the realm of the dead. This imagery is paralleled in Revelation 21, verse 1, where a new heaven and a new earth are described, having replaced the first heaven and earth that passed away. Notably, the new creation is free from the chaos, unpredictability, and the realm of the dead, suggesting a state of perfect balance and harmony. I would like to share with you a concise excerpt from Charles Spurgeon's exposition on Revelation 21, specifically verse 1. In the new dispensation, there must be a spiritual significance to these changes. There shall be no division. The sea has historically separated nations and peoples, as John in Patmos felt imprisoned by deep waters that separated him from his brethren and his work. However, in the world to come, such barriers shall be non-existent. There will be no more sea, symbolizing an end to division. The sea, with its ever-changing nature, represents a mysterious and ever-evolving entity. While the topic is fascinating, we must remember that as believers, God is in control. He currently governs the earth, the new heaven, and the new earth, and is certainly in control of what exists on and beneath the earth. I will provide a detailed timeline regarding the plagues as described in the book of Revelation. These events occurred during the tribulation period and are divided into 3 phases, each consisting of 7 plagues. Each plague entails apocalyptic occurrences. These plagues are integral to God's justice system, designed to mete out retribution upon those who commit evil deeds. Before we begin, it is important to note that this information should not instill fear in you. Rather, Revelation, unique among the scriptures, promises a blessing to those who read and adhere to its teachings, as stated in Revelation 1, verse 3. Blessed is he who reads, and those who hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written in it, for the time is near. The first phase of the plagues involves the 7 seals, the second phase involves the 7 trumpet plagues, and the final phase is the 7 bowls. The commencement of the plagues is marked by Jesus' opening of the first of 7 seals. Within the seal, a white horse emerges, accompanied by a rider equipped with a bow and a crown. This rider departs as a conqueror, signifying a charismatic leader who will emerge towards the end times. This leader's rise is likely to follow the rapture, although the foundational work for his rise will have been established beforehand. This malevolent ruler on earth will utilize deceit to exercise control over nations, leading to the collapse of governments and the implementation of his oppressive regime through manipulating the populace. Remarkably, many will support him, under the false belief that he will bring about peace, only for it to reveal his true agenda. The second seal introduces a red, fiery horse, whose mission is to strip peace from the world. This horse is armed with a sword to facilitate its task. This is widely interpreted as a prelude to the end times, where conflicts will emerge worldwide as nations and individuals turn against each other due to this plague. Subsequently, the third seal is opened, revealing a black horse tasked with inflicting famine upon the nations. It is conceivable that this will lead to the collapse of economies and a significant rise in inflation, rendering the basics of life unaffordable for many. The world's agricultural production might be severely reduced, with a simple loaf of bread becoming a costly item, reserved for the few who can afford it. The fourth seal introduces a pale horse, which is tasked with spreading disease and death. Hospitals would become overwhelmed by the influx of patients, while strange and incurable ailments would cause widespread suffering. Panic would intensify, and survival would become a daily struggle due to the scarcity of medical intervention. One can imagine the chaos and unrest as people desperately seek any form of medicine. The fifth seal contained the souls of the martyrs, those who, during the tribulation period, would steadfastly uphold their faith and refuse to submit to the new world's leader. They suffered great persecution and were even killed. Their blood therefore calls for vengeance against the inhabitants of the earth, thereby increasing the suffering to which those people are subjected. Following the Lamb's opening of the sixth seal, an unprecedented earthquake will strike. During this period, around the end of the third annual anniversary, a great natural disaster will occur. This disaster will trigger fear in people and make them realize the seriousness of the matter. And this situation will continue. In the wake of these disasters, the devastation will be left, and many people will become poor, sick, and depressed. The seventh seal is characterized by a period of pauses and silence, during which many may fail to comprehend the occurring events. Following this silence, the disasters escalate to a new level with the introduction of a second set of planks. These represent the seven trumpets, each carrying a distinct judgment for the people. This marks the commencement of the last 3.5 years of the Great Tribulation, highlighting the severity of the plagues to come. The initial seven experiences associated with the seven seals are referred to as the beginning of sorrows. This period signifies the onset of profound global chaos, characterized by suffering, pain, and regret. The first angel's trumpet blast will result in a catastrophic event, described as hail, fire, and blood, which will consume a third of the earth. Given the economic hardships already imposed by the first set of plagues, this further decimation of Earth's resources will exacerbate food shortages, rendering it nearly impossible for individuals to afford sustenance. The second angel's trumpet will cause a third of the sea to turn to blood, resulting in the death of a third of the sea creatures and the destruction of a third of the ships. This would lead to the contamination of ocean waters, the demise of marine life, and the disruption of all forms of sea-related activities, putting at risk the closure of everything associated with sea travel or trade. The third trumpet will contaminate the waters, making them bitter. You are aware of the significance of water to human life. Due to the water becoming bitter, numerous individuals will perish. People will be compelled to seek clean water at all costs, leading to widespread water riots in major cities as they fight for water. Upon the sounding of the fourth trumpet, the sky would become dark, and the sunlight and temperatures would plummet. This would cause widespread unease due to the darkness, leading to the failure of crops and energy grids, and making life exceedingly difficult and harsh for the populace. The fifth trumpet heralds a distinct form of torment, as locusts are dispatched to earth to afflict the populace. These creatures are instructed not to damage the vegetation, but rather to cause distress among the people. This period of suffering is set to endure for 5 months. The Bible describes the pain as akin to the sting of a scorpion. Notably, during this time, individuals would desire death, yet find it elusive. As recorded in Revelation 9, verse 6, people would long for death, but death would be far from them. Additionally, Revelation 6, verses 16 to 17 indicates that in response to this suffering, people would cry out to the mountains and rocks to fall upon them, seeking refuge from the one on the throne and the Lamb's wrath, as the day of great wrath has arrived. And who can endure it? Regrettably, medical intervention would offer no relief, as both the medical professionals and the general population would suffer from the locust torment. The sixth trumpet signals the release of angels tasked with destroying a third of humanity. This period will be marked by widespread terror as the angels execute their mission with fire, smoke, and sulfur emanating from their mouths. Every region will experience depopulation, leaving people in constant fear, unsure of when their turn will come. The seventh trumpet will then sound, following which the heavens will declare God's reign supreme, causing the heavens to rejoice. This declaration will be accompanied by a devastating earthquake and storm, further instilling fear in the earth's inhabitants. The world's political system will collapse, leading to mourning over the loss of power and wealth. Following the seven trumpets, the seven bowls of judgment will ensue, symbolizing the final phase of the plagues. These will be poured out in sequence during the last year of the Great Tribulation, preceding Christ's second return. The first bowl of God's wrath would be poured out, causing a devastating outbreak of sores among those who bear the mark of the beast. These sores would be both strange and painful, leaving hospitals unable to offer aid. As a result, these individuals would be ostracized from society. The second bowl would cause all the world's seas to turn to blood, exacerbating the famine and introducing a scenario of unimaginable horror. The third bowl would result in the rivers and all other freshwater sources turning to blood, leaving no potable water and leading to severe dehydration and suffering among the population. The fourth bowl would grant the sun the power to scorch people with fire, resulting in an unprecedented increase in heat. This would lead to the devastation of plant life and make it impossible for people to remain outside or comfortable indoors due to the intense heat, power grid failure, and other immediate inconveniences. The Bible forewarns that there would be individuals who would curse God and refuse to turn to Him for rescue. The fifth bowl would bring about intense darkness, plunging the beast's kingdom into utter darkness and resulting in the loss of control of the people. Fear and lawlessness would increase. The drying up of the Euphrates, as foretold, created a strategic gathering space for kings from the east, setting the stage for the Great War of Armageddon. Demonic spirits, tasked with performing signs, would travel to various kings across the globe, inciting them to join in the battle against God with their malevolent speech. These spirits succeeded in rallying numerous kings and directing them towards Armageddon, the site of the apocalyptic conflict. The seventh bowl is the final manifestation of God's wrath, marking the conclusion of the plague. This calamity gave rise to the most intense earthquake recorded, signifying the end of the world as humanity has known it. According to the Bible, no such earthquake has preceded it, nor will there be one like it in the future. The seismic event will fundamentally alter the Earth's surface, causing cities to collapse, mountains to vanish, and islands to flee. Hailstones the size of 100-pound coins would plummet from the sky, causing widespread devastation. Despite these warnings, many will still denounce God due to the severity of the impending calamity. Dear salvation is the escape. Jesus is inviting you to a life of quality and integrity. Today, turn away from all forms of evil and embrace the free gift of eternal life with Jesus. The tribulation period will bring forth God's judgment upon the earth, but those who are in Christ will be spared.